Imagine you're sailing through the Pacific Ocean on a perfectly calm night. The stars are shining. The sea is almost completely still. Then, without warning, your compass begins spinning wildly. Your radio fills with static. A thick wall of black fog rises from the water. Within minutes, your ship disappears. No distress call. No wreckage. No survivors. It sounds like the plot of a horror movie. But according to many stories told over decades, this has happened in one of the most mysterious places on Earth. A place known as the Devil's Sea. Located in the Pacific Ocean, just south of Tokyo and stretching toward the remote Bonin Islands, the Devil's Sea has earned a terrifying reputation. Many people even call it Japan's Bermuda Triangle. For generations, fishermen, sailors, and pilots have claimed that strange things happen here. Ships vanish. Aircraft disappear. Navigation systems fail without warning. Some crews report seeing strange lights hovering above the ocean. Others describe sudden whirlpools, massive rogue waves, or thick fog appearing from nowhere. The most disturbing part: many of these stories end exactly the same way. Silence. No survivors. No explanation. But here's the question. Is the Devil's Sea really cursed? Or has fear transformed ordinary accidents into one of the world's greatest legends? Some scientists believe the answer lies beneath the ocean floor, where powerful underwater volcanoes constantly reshape the sea. Others believe unusual magnetic activity may interfere with navigation. And then there are those who believe science still doesn't have all the answers, because some disappearances remain impossible to explain. Tonight, we're separating fact from fiction to uncover the truth behind one of Earth's most chilling ocean mysteries. Before we dive into the evidence, we first need to understand why this region became feared long before modern ships ever crossed these waters. Because the legend of the Devil's Sea began centuries ago, long before satellites, radar, or modern navigation. Japanese fishermen already feared these waters. They called this region dangerous, not because of pirates or storms, but because the ocean itself seemed alive. Old legends spoke of strange sea dragons hiding beneath the waves. Some believed giant creatures could drag entire boats into the depths without leaving a single piece of wreckage behind. Others claimed mysterious lights appeared over the water at night, only moments before ships vanished. For centuries, these stories were passed from one generation of sailors to the next. Most people dismissed them as myths. But then, modern ships began disappearing too. The Devil's Sea lies in the western Pacific Ocean, south of Japan, around the volcanic islands of the Izu and Bonin Island chains. At first glance, it looks like any other part of the Pacific. Deep blue water, open seas, strong ocean currents. Nothing unusual. Yet beneath the surface, the region is one of the most geologically active places on Earth. Massive underwater volcanoes constantly reshape the ocean floor. Earthquakes happen frequently. Powerful currents collide beneath the waves. Scientists know this makes the sea unpredictable. But does it explain everything? Not even close. As shipping routes expanded during the 19th and 20th centuries, stories became more frequent. Captains reported compasses behaving strangely. Experienced navigators suddenly lost their sense of direction. Radio signals became weak, sometimes disappearing completely. Several crews described walls of dense fog that appeared without warning, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Some reported glowing lights floating above the ocean before their instruments failed. Were these natural atmospheric phenomena? Or were frightened sailors connecting ordinary events to an already terrifying legend? No one knew. But the mystery was only beginning. Then came a series of disappearances that changed everything. These were no longer ancient stories. They involved modern vessels, professional crews, and official government investigations. One incident in particular shocked Japan. A research ship sent to investigate the Devil's Sea would never return, and that single event would make headlines around the world. By the early 1950s, the mysterious disappearances in the Devil's Sea had become impossible for Japan to ignore. Fishing boats had vanished. Small vessels had disappeared without explanation. Reports of strange activity continued to grow. The stories had become so widespread that the Japanese government decided it was time to investigate. Not with rumors, but with science. In September 1952, Japan dispatched a scientific research vessel called Kaiomaru No. 5. Its mission was straightforward: study the volcanic activity beneath the Devil's Sea, map the ocean floor, collect geological data, and determine whether underwater volcanoes could explain the strange disappearances. On board were a team of scientists, technicians, and experienced crew members. They carried modern equipment for the time. The mission was expected to return with answers. Instead, it became part of the mystery itself. Shortly after entering the region, communication with the vessel was lost. No emergency distress signal was received. No final radio message. Just silence. Search teams were immediately deployed. They searched the surrounding waters for days, then weeks. Eventually, only scattered debris was recovered. The ship itself was never found intact. The exact fate of everyone on board remains uncertain. Instead of solving the mystery, the investigation had created an even bigger one. News of the disappearance spread quickly across Japan. Many newspapers linked the tragedy to the already infamous Devil's Sea. The public was terrified. Some reports even claimed the government warned ships to avoid the area. Others believed the sea had claimed another victim. But scientists urged caution. They pointed out that the region is home to active submarine volcanoes capable of producing violent eruptions beneath the surface. An explosion like that could destroy a vessel in minutes. Was this the answer? Or was it simply the most reasonable theory for a mystery that still lacked conclusive evidence? The disappearance of Kaiomaru No. 5 gave the Devil's Sea its global reputation. But it also raised an even deeper question. If underwater volcanoes were responsible, why did so many sailors report strange compass failures, mysterious lights, and unexplained navigation problems? To answer that, we have to look at what lies beneath the ocean and the powerful natural forces that can turn calm waters into a deadly trap. To understand the mystery of the Devil's Sea, we first need to look beneath its surface. Thousands of meters below the waves, the ocean floor is anything but peaceful. Hidden beneath the water lies one of the most geologically active regions on Earth. Here, massive underwater volcanoes are constantly erupting. New islands can suddenly rise from the ocean, only to disappear again months later. The seafloor is always changing, and when it changes, the ocean above changes with it. Unlike volcanoes on land, submarine volcanoes erupt silently beneath the sea. An eruption can release enormous amounts of gas, ash, and superheated water into the ocean. Sometimes, these eruptions happen without any visible warning. if a ship happens to be directly above one. The consequences can be catastrophic. Scientists believe huge bubbles of volcanic gas can reduce the density of the surrounding water. In theory, if the water becomes less dense, a ship can lose its buoyancy and sink much faster than normal. Even experienced crews may have little or no time to react. The Devil's Sea is also influenced by powerful ocean currents. Beneath the surface, different currents collide, creating unpredictable conditions. Without warning, calm water can transform into towering waves. Powerful whirlpools may form. Sudden storms can develop in minutes. To sailors caught in these conditions, it could easily feel as if the ocean itself had turned against them. And in many cases, there would be no opportunity to send a distress signal. The volcanic theory explains many things. It explains rough seas. It explains sudden sinkings. It even explains why wreckage might be difficult to recover. But it doesn't explain everything. Why did experienced pilots report compass failures while flying above the area? Why did some sailors describe strange glowing lights over the water? And why did navigation instruments sometimes behave unpredictably, even when no volcanic activity had been detected? Those questions remain unanswered. And that's where the mystery takes an even stranger turn. Some researchers believe the answer isn't hidden in volcanoes, but in an invisible force that surrounds our planet. A force powerful enough to confuse navigation and leave even the most experienced crews completely lost. Could the Devil's Sea be affected by unusual magnetic anomalies? Or is that just another legend? Imagine relying on a compass in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, only to watch the needle begin spinning wildly. North is no longer north. Your maps become useless. Your radio starts filling with static. And every minute, your ship drifts farther into the unknown. For decades, sailors and pilots claimed this is exactly what happened inside the Devil's Sea. Could an invisible force be responsible? A compass works by aligning itself with Earth's magnetic field. Normally, it's one of the most reliable navigation tools ever created. But Earth's magnetic field isn't perfectly uniform. In some places, small magnetic variations can occur due to the composition of rocks beneath the surface or local geological activity. These variations can cause minor compass deviations. However, scientists have found no convincing evidence that the Devil's Sea contains magnetic anomalies powerful enough to make ships or aircraft disappear. That doesn't mean navigation is always easy there, but the dramatic stories of wildly spinning compasses remain largely anecdotal. Several pilots and sailors described strange experiences while crossing the region. Some reported instrument interference. Others spoke of sudden radio problems or unexpected weather that appeared almost instantly. But there's an important detail. Many of these reports were never independently verified. Some came from personal accounts shared years later. Others were repeated so many times that separating fact from legend became almost impossible. As the Devil's Sea became more famous, every accident in the region started being connected to the legend. A ship caught in a storm, the Devil's Sea. A fishing boat that never returned, the Devil's Sea. A compass behaving strangely, the Devil's Sea. Over time, stories grew more dramatic. Facts mixed with rumors, and rumors slowly became accepted as truth. That's how many famous mysteries are born. Not from one unexplained event, but from dozens of stories woven together over decades. So, if magnetic anomalies can't fully explain the mystery, and underwater volcanoes don't answer every question. Then why has the Devil's Sea earned such a terrifying reputation? Perhaps the answer isn't hidden in science alone. Perhaps it's hidden in the stories people have told for centuries. Ancient legends, sea monsters, ghostly lights, and tales that continue to haunt these waters even today, long before scientists studied the Devil's Sea. The people who knew these waters best were already afraid of them. Japanese fishermen avoided certain parts of the ocean, not because of maps, but because of stories passed down through generations. Stories they believed were warnings, not myths. One of the oldest legends speaks of a giant sea dragon, a creature said to live deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. According to folklore, the dragon could create violent whirlpools powerful enough to drag entire ships beneath the waves. Some sailors claimed they heard deep rumbling sounds coming from below the ocean, moments before the sea became dangerously rough. Others believed the creature was protecting something hidden beneath the water. Of course, there is no scientific evidence that such a creature exists. But legends like these survived for centuries because they gave people a way to explain the unexplainable. Not every story involved monsters. Some sailors described glowing lights floating just above the ocean at night. The lights appeared without warning, sometimes moving silently across the water, before fading into the darkness. Others claimed strange blue flashes illuminated the sea during calm weather. Today, scientists suggest there could be natural explanation for some of these reports. Atmospheric electricity, bioluminescent marine life, or reflections caused by unusual weather conditions. But no single explanation accounts for every story. Imagine spending days alone at sea, surrounded by endless water. No land in sight. A sudden storm appears. Your compass behaves unexpectedly. The radio goes silent. In moments like these, even the smallest mystery can feel supernatural. Fear changes the way we see the world. It makes ordinary events seem extraordinary. And once a place gains a frightening reputation, every strange experience reinforces the legend. The Devil's Sea became more than just a location. It became a symbol of the unknown. So, what is the Devil's Sea really? A cursed stretch of ocean, a place shaped by powerful geological forces, or simply a region where dangerous natural conditions and human imagination collided to create one of history's greatest maritime legends? The truth may be more fascinating than the myths, because when researchers examined the evidence, they discovered that the real story wasn't quite what many people believed. And that changes everything. After decades of terrifying stories, researchers decided to ask a simple question: how much of the Devil's Sea mystery is actually supported by evidence? The answer was far more surprising than anyone expected. Scientists and historians began reviewing old newspaper articles, government records, maritime accident reports, and eyewitness accounts. What they discovered was unexpected. Many of the stories repeated in books, documentaries, and on the internet could not be confirmed by official records. Some incidents had been exaggerated over time. Others were based entirely on second-hand accounts. And a few famous disappearances may never have happened exactly as the legend describes. But that doesn't mean the Devil's Sea is harmless. Far from it. This region sits along the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most geologically active zones on Earth. Underwater volcanoes erupt. Earthquakes shake the seafloor. Powerful typhoons sweep across the Pacific. Ocean currents can change rapidly. Together, These natural forces make the area genuinely dangerous for anyone at sea. Unlike a supernatural curse, these threats are real, and they have claimed lives throughout history. So why did the Devil's Sea become known as Japan's Bermuda Triangle? The answer may lie in human nature. When people encounter something they can't fully explain, they create stories. One unexplained disappearance becomes two. Two become 10. Over time, fact blends with folklore. And eventually, the legend becomes stronger than the evidence itself. That doesn't make the mystery any less fascinating. It simply reminds us that history is often shaped by the stories we choose to remember. Perhaps the greatest mystery of the Devil's Sea isn't hidden beneath the waves. Perhaps it's hidden in the way legends are born. A dangerous ocean, a handful of unexplained tragedies, centuries of folklore, and generations of storytellers. Together, they created one of the world's most enduring maritime mysteries. The Devil's Sea may not be a place where the laws of nature disappear, but it is a place where the line between fact and legend becomes incredibly difficult to see. So, what do you believe? Is the Devil's Sea simply one of the most dangerous regions of the Pacific? Or is there still something about these waters that science has yet to explain? Let us know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring history's greatest unsolved mysteries, subscribe because our next investigation may be even more unbelievable.